Hello, everybody, and welcome to another podcast by none other than Nico the Legend, also known as Nicholas Sorokin. And the time is 11:53 p.m. The date is 4/18/2017. Just want to say I'm late on bringing up these podcasts. It's been a bit. I've been doing a lot of things in my life, like moving into a brand new house. So I've been delayed for about a week of podcasts. So I do apologize that. But this podcast has nothing really to do with video games today. Actually, it has to do with the Star Wars Celebration 2017 in Orlando that I went to a few days ago. I went on last Saturday, which was the 12th, I think, 13th, whatever. You guys will know the dates. I don't know the dates. Okay, I'm sorry. So what this podcast is going to be discussing is I need help. Yeah, that's right. I need help on understanding what it takes to actually enjoy a convention 100%. Because let me tell you, folks, I spent $75 each for 2 tickets for my brother and I to go for our very first convention, period. Very first, and our very first Star Wars convention. And let's just say I was only there for 2 hours, and then I drove home, in which I live about an hour away. So you can call me a fool, an idiot, or like, what? Why would you even do it in the first place? But this is why we're making this podcast. The humiliation is high, it's soaring through the roof, and I completely understand what you guys are saying. So, before I get started, leave your comments and thoughts below on how you feel about it so far. Yeah? And I'll remind you at the end, because you guys just love reminders. Okay, so let me give you the brief rundown of the Star Wars Celebration. Basically, it's just a huge Star Wars convention that I think for the first time was happening in Orlando this year. Usually it happens in other parts of the United States and even in the other parts of the world. But excuse me, the reason why I was wanting to go to it because I love Star Wars. Star Wars to me is like one of my favorite sci-fis to follow, movies, franchise, books, video games, and all that. Like I've done it all. All kinds of things, music, whatever, all forms of entertainment, I guess you can call it. So I'm not obsessed with Star Wars. I'm not a fanatic, although I do have a Death Star beanbag, not beanbag, but a little stuffed toy, not toy, but on my bed, and I have a Stormtrooper enlisted sticker, window decal on my car. Well, let me show you the Death Star. So, I guess we'll just have this. See it right here? This is the Death Star that I bought. They're one of the few items that I got from this place. So I'm just going to have it here, warm me up, and hopefully I don't start sweating with my sketchy hoodie. So, okay. So yes, the convention happens for me, first time. And like I said, I think it was the first time happening in Orlando. I really wanted to go because there's so many times I wanted to go to a convention I never got to. Mainly because I forget to buy tickets or I can't afford it because they can be pretty pricey, especially for people who buy multiple day passes, which totals up. I mean, just think of it like theme park rules. That's kind of like how it is with admission. I bought a 1-day pass on Saturday, not knowing what I was really getting myself into, especially with this new environment that new experience I was gonna endure. Yeah, it was definitely one to remember. So I was just going on the impression that it's Star Wars. I'm gonna have a good time, no matter what shape or form it takes. And these are my people. In terms of people I can associate with, that we can all enjoy a Death Star together, blowing up a planet. I can fit right in. And so I decided to do that. Originally I was gonna go by myself, but my brother and I, my oldest brother and I haven't hung out too much, in a while. It's kind of like the distance gap and stuff. We're kind of 25 minutes apart, which doesn't seem much, but we're constantly working on doing our own thing. And I'm 27, he's 32. Sorry if I say your age, bro. If I got it wrong too. Oof. So you know how it goes. It's just part of growing up. So I just took the liberty of inviting him and see if he wanted to go. He wanted to go, but it's the whole money thing. $75 a ticket on a Saturday, the most expensive out of all the days. All the other days were $65, which I was like, wait, wouldn't Friday be expensive too? But Easter weekend, I guess. I don't know. Sunday wasn't that expensive for, $65. So, it's not too bad. So, there was this whole not being able to afford it or whatever, because my brother's ticket, which I completely understand, he, just didn't have the money at the time. So I took the liberty of paying his ticket for him, and he would just pay me back one day. Because, I really wanted him to go. He likes Star Wars, but he likes Star Trek more. He's reading the books and stuff, so. But he does love Star Wars. Not as much as me. It's fair to say, since I read all the books. I'm reading the books and stuff, but, you don't have to do that to be the biggest fan. I don't know. I don't think that's true, There's different ways of appreciating something in such high esteem. So we decided that the day was going Saturday due to our work schedules, and we just had to wait. Once we bought the tickets, I bought them too late. Actually, after the deadline of getting your tickets shipped to you or mailed to you in the mail. But if you pass a certain date, it was past the 22nd of last month of March, then you had to pick it up at a ticket booth at the convention, which we'll get to that in a second. It wasn't that bad. So after a couple weeks of waiting, we find it's finally the day of the Star Wars convention. Looking on IGN the night before, I see that this new Star Wars The Last Jedi trailer came out, and all this cool stuff happening. Mark Hamill does this 40-year Star Wars celebration speech and all that. So there's a lot of a speech about Carrie Fisher. So there was a lot of cool things that was going on. And my main reason for going is because I wanted to meet Mark Hamill, or just hear him speak or see him. I mean, Harrison Ford would have been great too, but he wasn't there. No, sadly. All the other characters are great, but I mainly want to see Mark Hamill. I don't like his political views, but we're not going to get into that. But I'm just saying, it was kind of a setback for me on how he was seeing the world and his political eyes. But, I respect him as an actor and the character he portrays. It's a type of archetype that I can relate to, being the chosen one, or the hero of all of all the galaxy. So I was hoping to see him on Saturday, and once we got everything going, my brother and I met up together. I picked him up and we drove to Orlando, still not knowing what was really to be expected. But once we got there, of course it was already packed. There was tons of cars parked. It was a pretty easy place to find. It was thanks to GPS. It's really a straight shot, really. Got to the convention center. I liked the place. It was nice. It was clean. It wasn't in rural Orlando. Orlando could be pretty bad. We were pretty close to, I think, SeaWorld or Universal. We were kind of close by at the Orange County Convention Center off I-Drive. So if you guys been there, check it out sometime. I'm sure they have good shows there, or good events. It's my first time going there. Man, it's just the first time for everything, right? So once we get there, we hop out. I start seeing all these really cool cosplayers and stuff. People excited, people non-cosplaying. But I was like, wow, people really do get into it, which I'd expect that, because this is a convention. People dress up because they really appreciate what they're seeing, which I don't blame them. It's pretty heartwarming that these people spend so much time on their costumes, or however way you want to put it, and they want to show that how much they love Star Wars, or any type of convention you go to. So eventually we get to the building, the main building. We got to do some screening process, got to go through, and then my brother and I were wondering where do we pick up our tickets, and it just so happens we were able to pick up our tickets right after the screening. This lady just sitting at a table by herself, just check out our online printouts of the tickets, and she's like, okay, here's a badge. The lanyard doesn't come with it. You're gonna have to look for it. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Yeah, you easily found it along the way. But I thought the process of picking up the ticket booth was gonna be way more grueling, because I'm sure I'm not the only one who did that approach. But whatever, it worked. I was happy. And then we followed the signs to the convention area, and that's when it started to feel like we had no idea what we were doing or where we were going, really. Because never been in this building, never been to a convention, never been to a Star Wars convention. We were just going with the flow of traffic, basically. And that's how it kind of felt throughout our whole experience. Like one little tour. It was just one giant tour, and sometimes you went in circles to repeat. Right after we got our badges, went through the building some more, and then eventually we found to where we started seeing like these, the different floors. There was I think there was 4 floors, and we were we took an escalator up from the screening area to, I think, the 3rd floor or the 2nd floor. It was the 2nd floor, and we just started seeing signs for the convention, which were stating like what each floor represents, what's going on and stuff, and kind of help guide you what you're really looking for. These are the signs you're looking for. But we didn't know what we were looking for. We didn't know what to expect. We didn't know where the exhibit hall was. We didn't know where anything was. So we just spent like 30 minutes looking around for the signs to guide us left and right, or where to go, kind of push us. And it wasn't even that convenient. It was all if I don't explain it well enough, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to cut to the chase, I guess. I'm trying to keep the pacing quick. We didn't know where we were going. We noticed that there's different entrances into the convention center where people were getting their badges and lanyards and stuff, which, by the way, we got our lanyards eventually. It was easy as 1, 2, 3. I guess there's entrances on all sides or whatever, and people were coming in left and right. The place was packed for being at 10 o'clock in the morning. Not 10 o'clock, but 9 o'clock, 9:30 in the morning. Convention doesn't start officially till 10 a.m. and ends at 7 p.m. So they give you enough time. We just wanted to be there on time, right? First time convention, we don't know anything. So once we started reading the signs and stuff, we were, having a few bathroom breaks here and there, because, you want to stay hydrated at these conventions because you're doing a lot of walking around, and also stay, not hungry. So once we did that, we found our way eventually through halls, through passing signs, because we wanted to go to the exhibit hall, because I know for a fact that I know what to look for in conventions, because I've seen so many videos and sources of people at conventions. And we looked up, we had a pamphlet with us that we got also that kind of showed us like show times and what events were happening today and what happened every other day. Today, that day's special event was Anthony Daniels talking about Star Wars 40 years around a certain time, and then before that there was a Star Wars Rebels TV show panel, and then some interesting stuff like that, so you kind of know what to expect getting yourself into. I kind of wish we were able to see what was going on the day of on the website. We weren't able to do that. It didn't tell us. At least I couldn't find it. So already I'm sounding like I'm not sure 100%, but my brother said he looked through it, and he said he couldn't find anything, so I'm just going to go with that, right? Just go with that type of outlook. And eventually we got to the giant lounge, or the dining hall, or I'm pretty sure it's the waiting room, but it's like this giant lounge, or giant empty lounge area, where it's just a lot of empty space, a lot of those they're not ropes, but they're like straps that hold the poles together to kind of guide traffic and lines, so it's more structured. And even when we got into that room for the first time, we just freaking had no idea where to go exactly. We were just literally just winging it. And eventually we finally, after 30 minutes of traversing through in and out, seeing all these different people walk by, sitting at a table in their costumes and all that, I'm like, what are they waiting for? What's going on here, right? Like I said, I don't know what to expect. My brother definitely doesn't know. Same thing as me. No idea. So eventually we found our way to the exhibit hall line, which was the main line to wait in. It was already packed with people and lines. And we were just sitting there waiting for about 30 minutes, waiting for the convention center to officially do its thing with the exhibit hall. Another thing is that while we were waiting, we it's funny, it gave us enough time to look through the pamphlet on what to expect, as I mentioned before. And the sad thing is, Mark Hamill wasn't coming today, or that day. Nope. He was there Friday, which made me really sad. Basically, the substitute for him was Anthony Daniels. And I'm like, okay, yeah, let me be excited for a guy who was in a robot suit the whole time. I understand that he was talking, but he didn't express any emotion in his facial structure or anything. He was a robot, for fuck's sake. No, Mark, I mean, the reason why I went is to see Mark Hamill. I thought I was going to see him, but he wasn't there. He was in California at the time. So I'm like, okay, so can't do that. And then my brother points out in the pamphlet, like, oh, okay, authors. You can talk to authors for different Star Wars books, get their input on it, and, stuff like that. Autographs, maybe. Happened on the Thursday of that week. Wasn't happening on Saturday. I'm like, okay, maybe you can see the Star Wars trailer that they showed on Friday. Nope, didn't see that either. Only on Friday. I'm like, okay. So, like, what's left? Star Wars Rebels Season 4 trailer. I'm like, really? Like a TV show? An anime TV show I give no buts about? Which I might later on down the road, but it's something I'm not looking forward to. It's a freaking cartoon show. Like, if it's good, it's good. I mean, I haven't seen it. Maybe I should have watched it ahead of time. But this is why I need your help, folks. And, we're going to get down to the rundown of why I really need help. I'll kind of give you what really happened in the convention of why I need help. So after waiting 30 minutes of seeing, hearing, grunting people clapping when they knock over the ropes, the strap poles for the lines to be structured, just sitting there, and then eventually we see that the line's moving, rows and rows of people, they go single file of a row, one at a time. So eventually it got to us, and eventually we got to the exhibit hall, and then this is where things got very interesting. Okay, now when I mean interesting, I am talking about in terms of not knowing what to do, what to really even enjoy, what to expect. And I say that because we were there for 2 hours. So the very first thing that my brother and I noticed is, after I take a whiz and I come back out, is that we noticed this statue or model, not life-size model, no way, of an ATST. And it was awesome looking, don't get me wrong, it was really cool. And then there was that, and then I start to notice that there's other life-scale models of, of the characters in Star Wars, of the speeders, the vehicles, and then people with their theme-made cars that were catered to Star Wars, which was pretty cool. But I mean, to be honest, we only spent like 5 minutes looking at all that stuff. Like, it was just, like I said, it was just walking on through. I mean, we're trying to enjoy it, but there's only so much you can look at, right? It's just, not living. Animatronic? No, just kidding. Not animatronic. So, and then we just kept pressing forward. And there was a lot of places to go to in this exhibit hall, but there was a lot of sadness. And the sad part about the convention is that all the things that people were experiencing, it just didn't seem that interesting to me. I don't know. Some of them were just things that you see for like a few seconds, and you're like, oh, that's cool, and then you just keep going. And then you get to these different places that are selling different merchandising. It's all about the merchandising at these exhibit halls, and they had a ton of merchandising. It got me. And that's all it really was for the most part. It was just a lot of merchandising, a lot of expensive merchandising. I can't tell you enough how depressed I was for a lot of things I couldn't afford. And I just spent like what was it? It was $150 on 2 tickets, and I can't even afford anything else. It's like, is that all it is? It's just gonna be merchandising and then lines everywhere. There was lines everywhere, like for things to look at and stuff. I'm like, to my brother, I'm like, I feel like we're at a theme park without the roller coaster rides to keep the thrills going. Just imagine that. You're at Universal Studios and there's no rides. You're just going from gift shop to gift shop to gift shop. And then, oh, here's a performance of Jedi Academy training, where it's just kids that do a quick skit of like literally 5 seconds. And then just bring out the next kid. Same animation. Oh, autographs. Gotta pay $70 to $90. And there's big ass lines for that. Oh, here's a virtual reality BB-8 whatever control thing. There's lines for that. There's just lines for everything. And there were things that you can enjoy for like 2 seconds. I'm like, I'm not gonna waste my, here's the thing. I didn't want to waste my time dilly-daddling, hanging out in a line to where the experience only lasts for 2 seconds. An autograph? Oh, let me just sign my name. That's it. $90. I'm not fucking wasting my money for that. I don't care if I'm a collector or not. Come on. Like, at least roller coasters and theme parks last more than a minute or something. Like, it's worth it. It's like you feel like you're just in the thrill. It's thrilling. It's adrenaline pumping. I mean, I guess it can be adrenaline pumping for meeting your favorite actor, or actress, but come on now. Like, really? I'm like, in my mind, the whole time that this was all happening, was like, thank God there's cosplayers, because the cosplayers were fantastic and they really were the life of the party, let's just say that, and they were the entertainment. I don't know how many times I saw some ugly Princess Leia's in slave outfits from Return of the Jedi. There were some disgusting looking women. I'm sorry, women, but if you're fat wearing a bikini, I'm fat shaming now. Oh, whoops, sorry. I'm just saying, like, anybody who saw it wouldn't have been pleased. I admire your courage and all, but they're just, you're not representing how Carrie let's just say this, you're not representing Carrie Fisher's image properly, okay? Let's just say that. She was slim, attractive in that movie. I'm surprised I didn't see any males or guys wearing slave outfits. But anyway, there were so many cool cosplays. I mean, there's every character I could think of. There was Kyle Katarn, there was Darth Revan, there was Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Kylo Ren, a lot of mercenaries, Boba Fett, Jango Fett. There was just a ton. There was a ton. No Jar Jar Binks. I did not see a Jar Jar Binks. That would have been great. There was no George Lucas cosplayers, which would have been great. But there was a lot. I mean, there were so many cool looking costumes, and I appreciate everybody's creativity. I mean, the cosplay was so authentic that there was like this not station, but like corner for mercenaries, or people dressed up as mercenaries, and they were just all hanging out talking, and I walked in that area and I felt like an outcast. I felt like they were going to assassinate me, because that's what mercenaries do. I felt like I had a bounty on my head. But it was like so cool that it felt like that. That just because of the environment I was in, and then the people and how they were dressed. People went gung-ho on it. It was great. I loved that about it. But sadly, it wasn't enough. I mean, it's funny. It's like when I was there, I felt like my brother and I even said it to each other. We felt like we were here for like 5 hours walking around looking at everything. But no, we breezed through it. I mean, we were looking at things. But maybe also what caused us to not focus solely on things, because the amount of people. When you have a place with a lot of people, it's kind of like you just go with the flow. It's like you're gone with the wind. It's really hard to slow down because people are behind you wanting to see things. You know, it was pretty packed because you have to, you know, you look at this model, you look at this picture on the wall, and then say, okay, well that part of the tour is over, and let someone else look at it. It's their turn. You know, it's like you had to do a lot of sharing of the attention you were giving to these objects and stuff. And the whole time, like, I was looking for stuff to buy. Like I said, they had some really awesome Star Wars, like, Ronin models, which were, of course, like $80 to $100. Couldn't afford that. I really wanted a poster, a Star Wars Celebration poster, even like a cool canvas painting, expensive. Like, the cheapest I could find was $50, and the most expensive I saw was like $1,300 for a canvas painting. All the canvas paintings were like over $100, like easily, even probably easily over $500. It was depressing, you know. I wasn't able to see Luke Skywalker, no Star Wars trailer. Couldn't buy anything, and I have money, but I don't have that expense. Let's just say that, I gotta have my priorities. I didn't want to go crazy balls deep. So I try to note things along the way. I'm like things that are practical and things I can use every day or see. This Death Star was one of them, which was like $15, which isn't too bad. It's pretty cool. I'm glad I bought it because I wanted something for my bed. And then another one was a sticker decal sticker, whatever, for my car, which was really cool. I'm like, I needed to replace the sticker. It made sense. It's just something I wanted to add some more edge to my car. So, but literally, it's just everything was so short-termed, and if it was a brief summary of like my experience, but we just got to a certain point. I'm like, is there anything you want to see? Like, to my brother, I was like, if you wanted to see something, it's fine, but like, there's no actors on the show floor. There's nothing exciting. Like, I don't care about Star Wars Rebels, or any of this crap. I mean, turns out that there was guest appearances like Hayden Christensen and then Warwick Davis doing an excerpt from one of the books or show or whatever comic. But I'm like, that wouldn't have been enough, because Hayden Christensen, everybody hates that guy. I don't hate him, but he's definitely not a person that I'm like, whoa, right? Because he was in the prequels. If like Harrison Ford or something was there, or Luke Skywalker. I mean, the two fucking icons, really. Carrie Fisher is the other one. Other things was the fact that Warwick Davis, that would have been cool to see him, but it just wasn't enough. I mean, he was in a fucking Ewok costume, for crying out loud. And that's the thing with like actors and stuff. It's like, it's not seeing an actor isn't as cool as seeing your favorite favorite band playing, or philosopher, or just some celebrity that's not an actor, that's not just reading lines from a script. Like, you want an archetype of a person in real life that actually is doing things that are really making a difference. And you can argue, it's like, well, they're actors in one of the best franchises, and that shaped who I was, blah blah blah. You can argue that, but they're just still actors. Musicians and stuff, they're not actors, really. I mean, maybe they're natural as can be on stages and stuff, unless you're like those cop-outs, Beyonce or Jay-Z or whatever fucking celebrity, Taylor Swift, and you just lip sync everything. Blah. Those over-the-top Kanye West celebrities, musicians and stuff, that they really don't deserve that much fame. Their music is okay, but not that great. But anyway, so it's like I said, it's like the celebrities were like the cosplayers, but I wasn't dressed up or anything. There was no like, hey man, nice costume, can I get a picture with you, So the point is, it's like, where did I go wrong? It's like, what did I need to do to prepare myself better for this convention, to stay as long as possible? Like, did I not wait? Was I supposed to wait in the lines for like an hour just for a 2-second autograph? Was I supposed to just be patient or talk to these cosplayers? Like, what was needed to be done? Like, my brother and I, first convention, we didn't know what to expect, and this is what we got out of it. I mean, I tried. I mean, I fucking spent the money, so I was really trying. I mean, have we cosplayed? Like, is that something you should do? Like, I don't know. Like, what? The point is like, we left after 2 hours feeling kind of disappointed. Like, it wasn't as cracked up to be, but maybe it's because we didn't understand how conventions worked. Help me help you, right? To understand these conventions. And sometimes that's how it goes. It's a brand new system to get used to. You just, the shitty thing is that you spent money and you just don't know how it's gonna be. You always remember your first time. I mean, I didn't have a problem with any of the people there. Everybody was really, really cool there. Nobody was a D-bag. Nobody was being rude or anything. Everybody was nice to each other. Everybody respected each other and what they were there for, what they were representing, and that was great. I felt a part of that. It's not like I was like so, not a part of everything, just so not a part of the cool people, right? So I just want to know how to make the convention experience better. I mean, if you guys have more questions, feel free to ask me in the comments below. Like what were you trying to accomplish? Like, the main reason was to see Mark Hamill. That's a bare thing. That's the bare minimum, of seeing him. And then everything else would have been great. Like, if he was there, like, I respect Anthony Daniels, but he wasn't worth the wait until 2 o'clock. I don't know what we would have done. I mean, I'm not gonna sit there and play tabletop card games or tabletop D&D or something, or type of D&D for Star Wars or card games. I'm like, this isn't like a place where you go to the mall or like a cafe or something. You just lounge like that. I'm like, if you're gonna go and stick it out throughout everything, and you're not enjoying it for the majority of the time, like, why waste that time? It's like, unless you're expecting like the coolest thing ever. Like, some people are really fanatic about it, or obsessed about it, so they'll stick it out no matter what. I mean, those 4-day pass people. Maybe that was one of the things I should have done. I should have got a 4-day pass, because I can experience it all. Not have to worry about missing this actor or this event. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. And then some guy kind of spoiled it for me. One of the guys where I bought the sticker from, a decal sticker, saying that it's going to get crazy about 1 or 2 o'clock. Like, he just tells me this. I'm like, oh, why? It's like, because I don't know why he said that. Why did he tell me that? I don't even remember. But it was just something that made sense. But what bothered me is that the fact that it's going to get more packed. So there's going to be more lines, more sweat, bodies, and cosplayers. And, like, I want to deal with that. I deal with that at the hospital I work at. I deal with enough people that are going to be up close to me, uptight. So, yeah, help me out, guys. Let me know. I mean, that was my total review on it was meh. Like, it was okay. It was an okay experience. For everybody else who went, if you had fun, that's great. If you didn't, I understand. I'm not trying to spoil or anything. I mean, the convention's already over. I'm kind of overdue on this, but I didn't. The whole moving thing that was going on was the bottleneck. So, guys, leave your thoughts and comments below. My name is Nico the Legend. The time is 12:25 a.m. The date is 4/19/2017. And like I said, please be honest with me. I want to know. Help me out. I got to know. Because I want to go to conventions. I want to go to more conventions like MegaCon, Comic-Con, Dragon Con, or another Star Wars Celebration convention, anything. So, appreciate it, guys. Have a great night.